May 32, senior systems architect for a mid-sized logistics and fintech firm. Autism levels critical but functioning. Job is basically babying a massive, ancient C++ backend called the Leviathan. It handles roughly $400 in transactions daily. Spaghetti code from the late 90s wrapped in modern APIs. I am the only one who knows how the memory allocation works. I am the only one who knows why line 4055 checks for a null pointer that shouldn't exist. Work 2 hours a day, spend the rest reading white papers and trading crypto. Salary is fat, stock options are vested. Life is good. Quiet. Efficient. Enter the void. CTO retires to a vineyard in Tuscany. New VP of Engineering and Cultural Transformation is hired. Name is Veronica. Red flags immediately visible from orbit. LinkedIn bio lists pronouns, 3 different activist hashtags, and a degree in digital humanities. Previous experience, 8 months at a startup that failed, 1 year as a community lead at a social media company. First all-hands meeting. She sets up a Zoom call for 200 engineers. Camera angle is low, lighting is ring light perfect. Starts off with a 15-minute land acknowledgement. We are a remote-first cloud company. Servers are in AWS East 1. Virginia doesn't care about your feelings. She starts talking about human-centric coding. Buzzword bingo begins. Synergy, holistic, decolonizing the stack, toxic meritocracy. I mute the mic and stare at my terminal. Uptime is 99.999%. My metrics are green. I assume I can just ignore her like the last 3 managers. 2 weeks later. Calendar notification pops up. 1 intro/vibe check Veronica. ISH. Join call. She's drinking something green out of a mason jar. Hi op, I've been looking at your commit history. Heart rate steady, I know my code is perfect. It's very rigid, she says. I blink, it's C++, Veronica, it's strictly typed, it has to be rigid or the memory leaks. She shakes her head, condescending smile engaged. I'm talking about the energy, it feels exclusionary, no comments explaining the intent behind the logic, just raw execution. It feels like gatekeeping. Tell her the code is documented in the technical wiki. I don't read technical wikis, I read people. We need to shift the paradigm. We're moving to a story-first development cycle. Ask what that means. Code should tell a story, it should be accessible to everyone, not just people with computer science degrees. We need to democratize the engineering floor. Bad feeling in gut. Also, I noticed you use the terms master and slave for the database replication. Here we go. That is standard industry terminology for this version of PostgreSQL, I say, voice flat. It's violent language, it triggers trauma, we need to change it immediately. Explain that changing the terminology requires refactoring the entire configuration layer, 3 middleware services, and the failover scripts. Risk of downtime is high. Cost is estimated at 200 man-hours. Do it, she says, the emotional safety of the team is priceless. The team is me and 3 Russian guys who don't speak English and only care about vodka and latency. Nod my head. Okay, send me the ticket. Start the malicious compliance engine. Ticket arrives, refactor database nomenclature to primary replica for inclusivity. Priority critical. I spent 3 weeks doing nothing but find and replace strings in config files. Meanwhile, critical security patches are piling up. I email her, Veronica, delaying the OpenSSL patch to rename variables puts user data at risk. Reply, security means feeling safe in your workplace first. Proceed with the rename. Print the email to PDF. Save to folder CYA, cover your ass. Finish the rename. Deploy to staging. Everything breaks. Scripts fail because hard-coded libraries in the legacy binary expect slave status. Spend another week writing wrapper functions to translate replica back to slave for the binary, then back to replica for the UI. The code is now 20% slower. Latency spikes. CPU usage up 15%. I present the metrics. It's slower, but it's kinder, she says in the next sprint review. Performance isn't just about speed, it's about accessibility. My left eye twitches. Month 2. Veronica announces a hiring sprint. Says the engineering team is too homogeneous. Aka too many guys with hoodies and poor posture. She fires 2 senior backend devs because they didn't align with the new cultural values. One of them was the only guy who understood the billing API. She replaces them with 3 junior creative technologists she found on Twitter. Meet the new team. Blue hair, nose rings, bootcamp grads. One of them asks me what a pointer is. Another one asks if we can rewrite the backend in JavaScript because C++ feels too aggressive and masculine. I look at Veronica. She is beaming. Isn't this energy refreshing? They bring a fresh perspective. The perspective is incompetence. They push code without testing. They break the build daily. I spend my entire day reverting their commits. Veronica calls me into a meeting. I've noticed you're rejecting a lot of pull requests from the new hires. Because they don't compile, Veronica, they are trying to pass strings into integer fields. They are trying to use npm install on a C++ server. She sighs, looks disappointed. You're being a blocker. You're using your technical privilege to intimidate them. I want you to stop gatekeeping. Let them merge. We learn by failing. If we fail in production, we lose $50,000 a minute, I state. Money is just a social construct. Trust is the real currency. Stare at her. Realize she is actually insane. Or just so deeply entrenched in corporate theology that reality has ceased to exist. Send me that instruction in writing. She does. Email subject: empowering junior talent, removal of gatekeepers. Body op: effective immediately. You are to stop blocking merges based on style or syntax. Let the team own their code. Step back and take a mentorship role. Do not intervene unless explicitly asked. Save to CYA. Print physical copy. Laminate it. The Onyx project. Veronica decides the legacy Leviathan engine is too old. Wants to rebrand it to Gaia. Wants to rewrite the core transaction loop. Currently, it's a highly optimized, multi-threaded C++ monster that handles thousands of requests per second with microsecond latency. She wants to rewrite it in Python. Python is more readable, it's more democratic, anyone can read it, it lowers the barrier to entry. I explain that Python is an interpreted language. I explain the global interpreter lock, GIL. I explain that for high-frequency transaction processing, this is like replacing a Formula 1 engine with a hamster on a wheel. She rolls her eyes. You're obsessed with efficiency. It's a patriarchal obsession. We need to focus on maintainability and community. It won't scale, I say simply. The hardware costs alone will bankrupt us. Cloud is infinite, she smiles. Stop being a naysayer, you're off the project. I'm putting the new team in charge of the rewrite. You will consult only. I am removed from the repository write access. I am now a strategic advisor. Aka paid to watch the ship sink. Sit back. Watch the carnage. The new team starts the rewrite. They import 500 different libraries. They use bloated frameworks. They write ON3 nested loops to sort transaction IDs. They don't understand race conditions. They don't understand ACID compliance. They are treating a financial ledger like a blog backend. I see the Slack channels buzzing. Hey, why is the database locking up? Just add a sleep timer, lol. Why are we getting negative balances? Just cast it to absolute value, positive vibes only. I take screenshots. I drink whiskey. I update my resume. But I don't leave. I have equity. And I have a clause in my contract. The launch. Veronica schedules the Gaia launch for Black Friday. The highest traffic day of the year. Genius move. Marketing blast goes out. We have decolonized our payments. Meet Gaia, ethical, accessible, slow code movement. I am sitting in my home office. 3 monitors. Terminal opened. Popcorn ready. 8:00 a.m. EST. Traffic starts to ramp up. Legacy system Leviathan is officially turned off. Gaia is routed to production. 8:01 a.m. Latency jumps from 20 ms to 400 ms. 8:03 a.m. Latency hits 2000 ms. Server CPU usage hits 100% across the entire cluster. Autoscaling triggers. Spins up 500 new instances. Bill is racking up at $1,000 per minute in Oz costs. 8:05 a.m. Database deadlocks. The Python code is opening a new connection for every single transaction and not closing them. Postgres runs out of file descriptors. Max connections reached. System halts. Transaction failure rate 100%. 8:10 a.m. Flag explodes. Veronica at channel, what is happening? Why is the dashboard red? Junior Dev 1, I think AWS is down. Oz is not down. Junior Dev 2, the database is being toxic. CEO joins the channel. CEO, we are losing $100K every 10 minutes. Fix it. Veronica, everyone breathe. Let's hold space for this anxiety. We need a huddle. CEO, I don't want a huddle. I want transactions to process. Where is Op? My phone rings. It's Veronica. Voice is trembling, but she's trying to sound authoritative. Op, hop on the call. We need you to support the team. I'm strictly an advisor, Veronica. I don't have right access. Remember, gatekeeping. I'm granting you access. Fix it. I can't fix a Python architecture that ignores basic computer science principles in 5 minutes. You need to roll back to Leviathan. We can't roll back. That would be admitting defeat. It would send the wrong message. We need to move forward. Then you will stay down. Hang up. Phone rings again. CEO. Op, what the fuck is going on? Veronica replaced a C++ engine with unoptimized Python scripts written by juniors to promote inclusivity. It crashed. I warned her. Here are the emails. Forward the CYA folder to CEO, including the do not intervene email. Silence on the line. Can you bring Leviathan back up? I can, but Veronica deleted the binaries to burn the ships. Jesus Christ. I have a backup locally on my personal encrypted drive. Deploy it now. I can't. My contract states that code developed on personal equipment time belongs to me unless formally transferred. Since I was removed from the project and the original repo was deleted, this backup is technically my IP. This is the twist. I anticipated this 6 months ago when she started. I backed up the stable build to a private server that I pay for. Technically, the company deleted their own product. I am the only one holding the keys to the kingdom. What do you want? CEO asks. Veronica is fired immediately. The juniors are put on pips or fired. I get full autonomy, and I want a consulting contract for the IP restoration. $500 an hour, retroactive to the start of the call. Done. Fix it. Log in. Grant myself root access. Kick everyone else out of the server. Kill the Python processes. Feels good watching them die. Drop the bloated database connections. Upload the Leviathan binary. Execute Leviathan restore. The terminal hums. Memory usage drops to 0.5%. CPU idles. Latency drops to 15 ms. Transactions start flowing. Green lights everywhere. Money printer go BRRR. The aftermath. Monday morning, all hands. Veronica is gone. Not even a goodbye email. Just a generic Veronica has decided to pursue other opportunities to align with her passion for social impact. CEO looks 10 years older. I am introduced as the new distinguished engineer. No management responsibilities. Just code. I walk into the office, remote but figuratively. Look at the code base. Revert the primary replica, changes back to master-slave just because I can. Efficiency returns. Nature is healing. Later found out Veronica sued for wrongful termination, claiming gender discrimination. Company lawyers pulled out my email logs. The do not intervene email was the smoking gun. Case dismissed. She's now a consultant for digital wellness in the metaverse. Posting on LinkedIn about how toxic tech culture pushed her out. Gets 5,000 likes. I get a $50K bonus. Buy a new server rack. Install Arch Linux. Life is quiet again. Be me thinking about the universe. Math doesn't care about your ideology. Physics doesn't care about your pronouns. Latency is the only truth. Sipping coffee. Green text ends.